All right, new here at 9, new data showing how different generations of men prioritize their health. It's no secret men's health, it can be a tough topic to many people. They often avoid it. Joining me now is Dr. Revati Bhole, a men's health expert and urologist with the Cleveland Clinic. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to dive right into this. I was reading some of the findings, really interesting here. So the Cleveland Clinic just shared its Mention report, as it's called, which looked into the generational differences. What were some of the most significant takeaways that were found?
Yeah, well, let's start with what we all had in common. A vast majority, almost 100% of men, actually said that their health was a top priority for them. So that's what we all had in common. But where there were differences were actually that older generations were more likely to be proactive about taking care of their health. So going to their annual physical, making sure that they were getting their cancer screenings, and stopping smoking or avoiding smoking. On the other hand, younger generations were much more likely to prioritize and take care of their mental health. So that was a very interesting finding in the study.
Yeah, and let's talk too about how social media plays a part in it. As a millennial male here, I get a lot of sometimes my questions answered by logging into social media. Talk about how AI is playing a role for some of the different generations.
Yes, so this was very interesting. We found that the younger generations were much more likely to use an AI virtual assistant or one of the AI platforms to get some of their health questions answered, and particularly some of the questions about more sensitive topics, things about urination and sexual health. They were much more likely to use AI as a resource than some of the older generations.
Yeah, and also what I found that stood out as well was that a lot of younger people don't really have primary care doctors. They're not going in for those physicals. Talk to those people how important it is to do that and not really rely on social media as your checkup.
Yes, absolutely. So it's important to have a primary care doctor, someone who can figure out your baseline, someone who can talk to you about your family history, someone who can get you advice on what screenings you need to make sure that you're staying proactive and you're staying ready if anything were to happen with your health, that you know the steps that you can take to make sure that some of these really serious conditions don't happen to you.
Yeah, and lastly, really quickly, doctor, talk to us about how all of these findings really shape how you go about treatments and getting those treatments and information out there to people.
Yeah, so this information is really important. The Cleveland Clinic runs the Mention It campaign for this reason, to get the information out to the public. And we all also try to make sure that we mention it in every clinic visit and try to get out to the public that just taking the first step to see your doctor, mentioning some of these important urinary issues and sexual issues is the first step towards living a long and healthy life.
Absolutely, definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things. Dr. Revati Bhole, a men's health expert and urologist with the Cleveland Clinic, we really appreciate you being here and talking with us.